They don't get addicted to your looks, or your money, or even your words. They get addicted to your energy, to the way you stay grounded when everyone else scrambles, to the way you walk into a room like you already belong because you do, to the fact that you don't need her. And that's exactly why she needs you. Most men think attraction is about adding more compliments, more effort, more attention. But the truth? It's about subtraction. Subtract the need, subtract the chase, subtract the noise. And what's left is you. Unapologetic, present, unshakable. In this video, I'll break down the psychology behind why some men become a drug women can't quit, while others get forgotten fast. It's not magic, it's not mystery. It's ancient stoic power wrapped in modern masculine clarity. So, if you're tired of overthinking, overgiving, and getting overlooked, this is the shift you've been waiting for. Let's get into it. Number 1. Stop chasing approval, she'll chase you instead. You know what kills attraction faster than anything? Needing her to like you, needing her to validate you, needing her to make you feel like you matter. That's not strength. That's desperation wrapped in a fake smile. And women can smell it a mile away. But when you don't seek approval, when you're comfortable in your own skin, when you're not performing for her attention, everything changes. Suddenly, she softens, her voice drops, her tone shifts. She leans in, not because you forced anything, but because you didn't. Let's get brutally honest. Most guys operate like approval junkies. They try to impress, to entertain, to say the right thing. They monitor her reactions. Did she laugh? Did she like that compliment? Should I text again or wait? It's not confidence, it's emotional gambling. You're placing your value in her hands and praying she gives it back. But the man who doesn't chase approval, he walks in already knowing who he is. He doesn't need her to affirm him. He doesn't need the green light to feel worthy. And that internal power, it's what makes him irresistible. Think about it. When someone tries too hard to get your attention, what's your reaction? You back away. It feels needy. It feels off. But when someone's completely comfortable with themselves, when they're present, not performing, that's when you start leaning in. This is exactly how women respond to men who don't chase approval. And that shift is primal. It's deep. It's neurological. Because here's what happens. The moment you stop chasing her approval, she starts chasing your calm. Your energy becomes the source of emotional stability. And that's addictive. She may not even know why she's drawn in. But it's there. Her tone changes. Her voice gets quieter around you. Why? Because you're not reacting. You're not pushing. You're not trying to control her perception of you. You're just the rerouted, relaxed, real. This is what stoicism looks like in modern masculinity. You're not emotionless. You're centered. You're not cold. You're just not available for validation games. You're not trying to earn her affection. You're allowing her to earn your time. And this creates polarity. Because most guys give away that power within minutes. The moment they sense interest, they overinvest. They shower her with compliments. They flood her phone. They break their own rhythm to keep hers. And just like that, they've surrendered their frame. You're going to be different. You're going to anchor into your own value. Not loudly, not arrogantly, just quietly. You're going to know that your presence is enough. That silence is a statement that if she sees it, good. If she doesn't, also good. This is why the strongest attraction isn't always loud. It's not high energy. It's not a performance. Sometimes it's a quiet voice. Her voice going softer around you because she feels safe to be feminine. She senses something in you that isn't hungry for her. It's at peace with or without her. That's when she starts leaning in. That's when she starts wondering about you. That's when you become unforgettable. You didn't chase her attention. You just stopped chasing approval. And in that space, she finally felt free to give it. If you've lived this truth, even on C, drop it in the comments. I don't chase validation. Because once you let go of needing her to see you, that's when she really starts looking. Number 2. Attraction begins where validation ends. You want her attention. You want her desire. That's human. But the moment you need her validation to feel confident, you've already lost the dynamic. Attraction doesn't grow where validation is the goal. It grows in the quiet space where you're already full, where her approval is optional, not essential. Let me ask you something real. Have you ever had a conversation where you could feel the other person just waiting for your approval? Like they were measuring every word, every look, hoping you'd like them more. It's uncomfortable, right? It feels unnatural. It feels like pressure. That's exactly how a woman feels when she senses that you're seeking her validation, not her respect, not her time, but her approval, as if she's the prize you have to impress to win. But here's the secret. The real prize is you. And when you start living like that's true, without arrogance, just presence, you flip the script. You stop being the one who's trying to earn. You become the one who already is. Because validation-seeking energy is repelling. It says, I don't believe in myself, so I need you to. And no one is attracted to doubt, especially not the kind you try to mask with charm, flattery, or effort. Now let's be clear. There's nothing wrong with wanting to connect, but there's a massive difference between sharing who you are and asking her to tell you it's enough. She doesn't get addicted to the man who flatters her. She gets addicted to the man who doesn't need to. When you validate yourself, your presence changes. You stop trying to manage impressions. You stop adjusting your behavior to match her expectations. You stop auditioning, and instead you just show up. You know who you are. You know what you offer. You're not there to impress. You're there to see if the energy matches. That shift changes everything, because now she feels the difference. She senses that you're grounded, that you're evaluating her just as much as she's observing you. And that power balance, that unspoken equality, that's magnetic. In Stoicism, they call it apatheia, freedom from disturbance. It doesn't mean numbness, it means clarity. You are no longer a slave to others' opinions. And once you stop needing them, something wild happens. People start craving yours. She starts noticing what you notice. She starts leaning into your vibe, because you're not trying to entertain her. You're being undeniably you. And that kind of man-rare, unshakeness, irresistible. So here's what you do. You stop texting just to get a reaction. You stop complimenting just to earn points. You stop waiting on her approval, like it's some kind of permission slip to be confident. You approve of yourself first. You validate your energy, your decisions, your time. And from that space of inner abundance, you invite her in. You're not the guy who asks, am I enough for her? You're the guy who asks, is she aligned with the life I'm already building? And that energy, that's where attraction lives. It's calm, it's powerful, it's rare. So if you're ready to stop playing the game and start owning the room without saying a word, type it below. I validate myself. Because when her attention is no longer your oxygen, that's when she can finally breathe you in. And she will. Number 3. Be the calm she can't shake off. You want to know what leaves a woman thinking about you at night? It's not the compliments. It's not the witty banter. It's not even how good you looked when you smiled. It's the calm, that quiet, grounded energy that doesn't shift no matter what she says or does. That steady pulse in your presence that makes her nervous in the best way, because she doesn't know why it affects her so deeply. Most men walk around with nervous energy. They're tense, too eager to respond, too reactive to every shift in her mood. They try to fill every silence, over-explain every decision, and constantly check her temperature, like they're afraid she'll slip away if they don't keep performing. But calm hits different. When you walk into a room and your body says, I'm good here, without needing to raise your voice, people feel it. Especially women, because calm is rare, and rarity is attractive. Here's why. When you're calm, You communicate safety, not in a boring, predictable way, but in a primal, subconscious way. You become the eye of the storm. And women, especially high energy, emotionally expressive, women crave that grounding. She may not say it, but her nervous system is reading yours. And if yours is steady, hers starts to shift. She lowers her voice, she leans in closer, she pauses more. Because you're not pulling her energy into chaos. You're giving her a place to rest inside your presence. That's what Stoicism trains you for. Not to be emotionless, but to be unmoved. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's the kind of man she can't shake. Because no matter what she throws at you, silence, sarcasm, even tests you, don't flinch. You don't defend yourself unnecessarily. You don't react to emotional bait. You don't crumble when attention dips. Instead, you stay rooted, calm, collected, focused. She might poke at it at first. She might try to pull you out of it, but eventually she gets pulled into you. And that's when addiction begins. Because every other guy responded to her drama. Every other guy played emotional ping pong. But you're the man who gave her nothing to fight and everything to feel. Here's a real example. You're on a date. Things go quiet. She gives you that look, half challenge, half curiosity. Most guys start talking, nervous laughs, trying to fill the gap. But you sip your drink. You hold her gaze. You let the moment breathe. That space, that confidence in the pause, that's when she starts wondering, who is this guy? How is he so calm? Why do I feel so pulled in? It's not game. It's not technique. It's the result of being grounded in yourself. The more you master this, the more she notices. And the more she feels you, not because you did more, but because you needed less. You didn't chase. You didn't prove. You didn't even try. You were just still, present, undeniable. And that is how she gets hooked. If you've ever felt the power of not reacting, of letting the silence do the work, drop it in the comments. I am the calm. And keep watching, because the deeper you go into this energy, the less you'll need words. And the more she'll feel everything you never said. Number 4. Don't react. Let her feel the silence. Let me tell you something that most men completely overlook. Silence is power. Not the awkward, insecure silence where you scramble to think of something clever. I'm talking about intentional silence. The kind that makes her lean in, not out. The kind that speaks louder than words ever could. We live in a world full of noise, text alerts, scrolling, endless replies. Everyone's trying to be heard. So when a man chooses not to react, not to chase the moment, not to fill the space, he stands out like fire in the snow. That man becomes magnetic. Here's why. When you don't react, you create a psychological vacuum. And human nature hates a vacuum, especially hers. She feels that empty space and starts wondering what's going on inside your head, why you're not filling it, what it means, what you're thinking. That curiosity, that tension, that's attraction in its purest form. Now let's be real. Most guys mess this up. They react instantly to everything, her jokes, her mood shifts, her games. 1 minute she goes cold, and boom, they're texting more. She pulls back slightly, and they overcompensate. They're so terrified of silence that they kill any chance of tension ever building. But you're going to do the opposite. You're going to let her pull back. You're going to let the silence hang in the air. Not as a tactic, but because you don't need to fix it. You're comfortable in that space. You own it. And the moment you do, she starts feeling it deeply. It's not just about withholding words. It's about what that silence represents. Control, presence, patience. It shows you don't need to speak to maintain connection. Your vibe already did the work. Think about this. If a woman says something provocative, maybe she teases you, or pushes a boundary and you don't flinch, don't explain, don't chase approval with a response. What message does that send? It says you're unshaken. It says her words don't define you. It says she can feel the space between you and you're completely at peace with it. And that is power. In Stoicism, this is mastery over impulse. Epictetus taught, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. But listening isn't just about hearing her words. It's about sensing the moment. Sensing when to not respond. When to let silence do the talking. Because when you stop reacting, you stop giving away control. You stop signaling need. And instead, you create an environment where she begins to respond more emotionally, physically, subconsciously. She starts leaning in. She starts explaining herself. She starts chasing clarity. Why? Because your silence makes her feel something most men never do, the weight of presence, the stillness of a man who doesn't need to play. Let me give you a real-world scenario. Say you're having a conversation. It gets tense. She says something edgy, maybe even testing you. Now, average guys, they defend, they deflect, they joke. Anything to fix the moment. But you look at her, you breathe, you say absolutely nothing. And that silence becomes the loudest thing in the room. It makes her aware of herself. It turns the attention back onto her, not in a threatening way, but in a mirror way. You're reflecting her back to herself without saying a word. And that makes her feel seen deeply, even unsettled, because now she has to navigate your stillness, she has to respond. And most women aren't used to that kind of energy. That's why she remembers you. You didn't argue. You didn't explain. You didn't perform. You just were, fully. And here's the beautiful part. Once she's felt that, she starts craving it. That silence isn't empty to her anymore. It's charged. It's intimate. It's masculine. So here's your reminder. You don't need to speak first. You don't need to fill the gap. You don't need to rescue the moment. You just need to stay grounded. Stay still. Let her feel the weight of your presence in the pause. And if you felt that shift, where silence turned into connection, drop it in the comments. I let silence speak. Because once you stop reacting, she'll start responding. Number 5. Pre-selection done right. Make her feel you're wanted. There's something that triggers deep, primal desire in women, something most men underestimate or misuse. It's called pre-selection. In simple terms, it's the signal that other women already see your value. But here's the twist. It's not about showing off. It's not about bragging. It's not about surrounding yourself with women just to provoke jealousy. Pre-selection done right is subtle, quiet, almost invisible. But she feels it. And once she does, she sees you completely differently. Why? Because women are wired to look for social proof. Evolutionarily, it made sense. If other high-value women were drawn to a man, it meant he had traits that were likely beneficial: confidence, leadership, emotional control, status, traits that signal safety and strength. That instinct hasn't disappeared. It's still running in the background. The difference today is that the tribe looks more like social circles, attention online, the way women react to you in public. And the man who moves through the world with the energy of someone already wanted gets wanted more. Now, let's get something straight. Pre-selection doesn't mean you talk about your dating life. That's insecure. It doesn't mean you flex about your exes. That's desperation. What it does mean is that your behavior shows you're already seen, already chosen, already desired without needing to prove it. She sees it in the way you don't rush to impress her. She feels it when you take your time to respond. She senses it in your relaxed, non-needy, slightly amused. Because a man who's used to attention doesn't crave it. He doesn't seek validation because he already lives in abundance. And that abundance mindset, it changes your entire energy. You walk different. You talk different. You listen with more patience. You speak with less pressure. Women feel it, even in silence, especially in silence. Now picture this. You're on a date. She's talking, testing, teasing. You're calm, engaged, but not trying. You're enjoying yourself, but you're not trying to win her. She feels that. And somewhere deep inside, she starts asking herself, why is he like this? Why isn't he trying harder? Who else sees him the way I do? That's where the hook sets in. Because it's not just about her liking you. It's about her wondering who else already does. And you never had to say a word. Pre-selection also shows in your lifestyle. How do you carry yourself when you're not with her? Do you have options, purpose, momentum? Are you building something beyond dating? A man who's in demand doesn't chase because his life is already full. Women don't just want to be wanted. They want to be chosen by a man who had other choices. That's what makes it powerful. That's what makes it addictive. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. The moment she senses other women want you, but you're not flaunting it, not using it, not manipulating with it, your value multiplies. Why? Because restraint is sexy, self-control is power. That's what separates boys from men. You're not here to prove anything, you're here to live. And if she gets to join you in that life, that's the win. For her. So, how do you embody pre-selection without trying? You become selective. You don't say yes to everyone. You protect your energy. You move through the world like a man who already has the attention he needs because you do. Yours. And when she realizes you're the kind of man other women notice but you don't chase any of them, that's when she wants to earn your attention. That's when she starts competing silently. That's when obsession begins. So if you've felt the power of being wanted but choosing to remain still, drop it in the comments. I am already chosen. Because when a woman sees you through the eyes of others, she'll start seeing you in a way she never did before. Number 6. Master the frame, never play inside hers. There's a reason some men always feel in control, cool, composed, respected, while others constantly feel like they're dancing to someone else's tune. That reason? Frame control. If you don't know what it is, you've already lost it. And once you lose the frame, you lose the girl, the power, the attraction. So what is frame? It's the unspoken mental lens through which every interaction happens. Who's leading the conversation? Who's setting the emotional tone? Who's defining what matters? Most guys step into a woman's world and immediately accept her rules. They follow her lead, adopt her expectations, react to her mood sand. Just like that, they're playing inside her frame. But here's the truth. Once you're in her frame, you're no longer the man she chases. You're just another variable in her emotional storyline. You've lost the anchor. The man she becomes addicted to, he creates the frame and never leaves it. Let me give you an example. You're on a date. She says something intentionally challenging. Why are you so quiet? Are you always this boring? A guy inside her frame will immediately defend himself. No, I'm just tired. I actually do a lot of fun stuff. But a man in his frame, he smiles, holds eye contact, maybe says, interesting test, didn't work though. Then takes a sip of his drink and moves on. Boom. Frame held, energy flipped. Now she's playing inside his world. Why does this matter so much? Because women feel the difference. A man in his own frame feels grounded, like nothing shakes him, like he knows who he is. That kind of presence triggers emotional security and psychological tension, two ingredients that quietly fuel attraction. It's not about being controlling, it's about being centered. Here's how you build that energy. You have a clear purpose. Interaction is guided by it. You're not trying to win her, you're trying to see if she fits in your life. You have emotional discipline. You don't react to teasing, sarcasm, or withdrawal. You control your pace. You're not rushing to meet her rhythm. She syncs with yours. You redirect with ease if she tries to bait you. You shift the energy without tension. A stoic man doesn't get pulled into every storm. He chooses which direction his ship sails. Marcus Aurelius didn't wait to be validated. He lived by inner principles, regardless of who approved. The mistake most men make is thinking they need to impress a woman, so they step into her frame and start jumping through hoops. But all that tells her is that she's the prize, that you're in her world, trying to earn a spot. Now imagine this instead. You're enjoying life, building something real, confident, peaceful. She steps into your space and you decide what role she plays. She can sense it. She's being evaluated, not with arrogance, with intention. That shift, it drives her wild, because suddenly you're not following her frame, you're offering her a better one, a calmer one, a more powerful one. And the man who can hold that frame when tested, when she pulls back, gets moody, or plays games, that's the man she can't forget. Because he never bends, he never breaks. He invites her in, but never chases her approval once she's there. One more thing, frame isn't something you declare, it's something you live. If you walk around saying, I'm alpha, you're not. If you constantly talk about how you're different, you're not. You show it through how you handle pressure, how you handle silence, how you handle yourself. She's always watching for signs, not of your strength, but of your stability, not of your dominance, but of your depth. And the man who walks into her world and doesn't lose himself in it, that's the man she remembers. That's the man she respects. That's the man who frames the entire relationship. So ask yourself, are you reacting to her frame, or are you holding your own? If you know the power of staying centered, even when tested, drop it in the comments. I hold the frame. Because when you lead from the inside out, she'll follow without ever needing to be told. Number 7. Let your presence speak louder than your words. There's a rare kind of man who doesn't need to speak much, but somehow the room listens when he does. Women notice when he enters, even if he hasn't said a word. He doesn't fight for attention. He doesn't dominate with noise. He carries something more powerful, presence. Presence isn't about being loud. It's not about talking more, bragging, or showing off. True presence is about stillness with intensity. It's the way you take up space, no physically, but energetically. It's the way your eyes lock in, your posture grounds you, and your calmness commands respect. And the wild thing is, women feel it before they even fully understand it. Think about the men you've seen in movies or real life who seem completely rooted. They're not in a hurry, they're not reactive, they don't overshare. Every move feels intentional. That's the energy of presence. And it's addictive, because in a world full of noise, a man who can stay quiet without shrinking is rare. Why does this matter? Because women don't just fall for words, they fall for what's behind the words, the way you make them feel. And when your energy says, I'm here, I'm solid, I don't need to perform, you become unforgettable. Most guys do the opposite. They overtalk, they try to be funny, they try to fill every silence, explain every opinion, overcompensate. But when you speak from a need to prove yourself, you lose something important, your gravity. Now let's go deeper. What creates that gravity? It's self-trust. It's purpose. It's knowing you don't need to chase approval. A man with presence knows who he is without needing validation. And that radiates in everything he do. 7. In stillness. Here's a real-world example. Imagine two men at a party. One is moving around constantly, talking, laughing loudly, trying to keep people entertained. The other is posted up calmly, maybe sipping a drink, observing, not in a rush to jump into conversation. Which one do you think she's wondering about? The first guy might be fun, but the second guy, he's a mystery. He's composed. And most importantly, he's not trying. That's presence. And presence makes her lean in. Stoicism teaches that you can't control external events, but you can control yourself. A man grounded in this mindset doesn't need to speak to show who he is. He is the message. His silence doesn't say, I'm shy. It says, I don't need to talk unless it matters. Presence also means you're tuned in, not checked out. You're not zoning out or pretending not to care. You're attentive without being needy. You're relaxed but aware. She sees it in your eye contact. She feels it when you pause before you speak. You're not in a rush. You're here. And that calm confidence, it creates emotional safety. She can feel her own energy slow down when she's with you. That's powerful. Because now, she doesn't just like being around you, she starts to need it. Presence is also about not leaking energy. Don't fidget, don't rush, don't explain what doesn't need explaining. Don't try to fill every moment. If she asks a question, answer it simply. If she teases, smile and hold eye contact. Let her sit in the moment. Let her feel you. One of the most powerful things you can do with a woman is let a moment breathe. Don't jump to fill it. Don't be afraid of silence. Let her feel your calm. Let her feel your anchor. Because here's the truth. Women don't remember the guy who talked the most. They remember the guy who made them feel the most. And presence makes them feel seen, held, not with words but with energy. So stop trying to impress. Start practicing presence. Sit still. Breathe deep. Let your stillness say everything. And if you've ever felt that shift, that moment where silence said more than a sentence, drop it in the comments. I lead with presence. Because when your energy speaks louder than your voice, she'll listen without even realizing why. Number 8. Seduce her with your standards, not your praise. There's a moment in every interaction when a woman silently asks herself, is he like the others, or is he different? And most guys answer that question before she even asks, by drowning her in compliments, over-validating, and putting her on a pedestal she didn't earn. They think praise is the path to connection, but here's the reality. Praise without standards is noise. If you want her to feel desire, to feel tension, to feel hooked, you don't flatter her, you filter her. Women are drawn to men who are selective, not just about dating, but about everything. Standards aren't just about how she looks or how she dresses. Standards reflect what you tolerate, what you pursue, what you value in yourself. And when you live by those standards unapologetically, you become rare. You become desired not because you chase, but because you don't. Let's break it down. Most guys meet an attractive woman and immediately start showering her with praise. You're so beautiful. You're amazing. You're different. But she's heard it all before. She knows when it's performative. She knows when a man is trying to win her instead of vetting her. And the moment she realizes you're handing out compliments like candy, she loses interest because now you're the one being evaluated, not her. But when you operate with a strong internal compass, something shifts. You don't need to validate her. You wait to see if she meets your vibe. Your attention becomes something she earns, not something she assumes. And that flips the script entirely. Here's what that looks like in real life. She says something superficial. You pause. You look at her not with judgment, but with depth and say, "You really believe that?" Now the energy changes. She's thinking, reflecting, leaning in. She's not just being admired, she's being challenged. And that challenge, when it comes from a place of grounded confidence, is electric. Because real connection isn't built on flattery, it's built on mutual recognition. She wants to feel chosen by a man who could have chosen anyone but didn't. She wants to rise to your level, to match your energy, to step into your world, not because you asked her to boot, because you didn't. Stoicism teaches that a man should be ruled by reason, not impulse. He doesn't react emotionally to beauty. He sees it, acknowledges it, but isn't moved by it unless there's substance behind it. That mindset, it's magnetic, and it shows up in how you speak. You don't say, "You're amazing," after 5 minutes. You don't exaggerate. You don't praise her just because you want her to like you. Instead, you offer occasional, thoughtful recognition, but only when it's earned. And when you do, it lands hard, because it means something. You also hold your boundaries. If she's late, you don't pretend it's cool. If she disrespects your time or energy, you address it with calm, not anger. That's a man with standards. That's a man who doesn't fold under beauty. Here's the paradox. When you stop trying to impress her, you actually impress her more. Because she can sense that you're not driven by her validation, you're driven by your values. And that's sexy in a way words can't explain. So next time you feel the urge to over-compliment, stop. Ask yourself, is this coming from strength or from seeking approval? Instead of saying, you're so different, say nothing. Let her show you she is. Instead of, you're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen, say, I like the way you carry yourself. Less noise, more intention. Because when you hold the lineand, she feels you're not here to impress but to invite her into your standard. That's when her curiosity turns into desire. If you've ever felt the shift when you stopped chasing and started choosing, drop it in the comments. I lead with standards. Because once you stop handing out praise like it's free, she'll start working to earn your respect. And that's when the real seduction begins. Number 9. Kill the need, become the reward. There's one thing that silently destroys a man's power in any dynamic with a woman: neediness. Not always the obvious kind, not the begging, not the pleading, but the subtle vibe that says, I need this to go well. I need her to like me. I need her attention to feel whole. And whether you say it out loud or not, she feels it. And when she feels it, something shuts off. Desire dies where neediness begins. See, attraction isn't about being the nicest guy, or the funniest guy, or even the best-looking guy. Attraction is about vibe, about energy. And nothing lowers your value faster than putting her on a throne and forgetting you have your own. So here's the hard truth. The moment she senses you need her, she stops seeing you as the prize. But the moment you stop needing and start being something shifts. You stop chasing. You stop explaining. You stop performing. And in that silence, she starts to feel something new. Why isn't he trying harder? Why does he seem so at ease without me? What would it feel like to win his attention? That's how obsession begins. Stoicism teaches us to let go of what we can't control and master what we can. Neediness is born from attachment to outcomes, from the illusion that getting her will complete you. But you're already whole. You're already enough. And when you carry yourself like that, not arrogantly, but calmly, grounded, she feels the difference. You're not trying to win her. You're letting her discover you. So kill the need. Kill the need to prove. Kill the need to text first. Kill the need to fill the silence. Kill the need to keep her entertained. Instead, focus on who you are without her. What kind of life are you building? What kind of energy are you protecting? What kind of man are you becoming, whether she's in the picture or not? Because when you embody that energy, you become the reward. And the man who is the reward doesn't chase. He doesn't over-explain. He doesn't crumble under pressure. He's simply a son that's enough. Women don't crave a man who makes them his entire world. They crave a man who has his own world and lets them earn a place in it. So if you've ever felt that quiet, shift the one where you stop seeking and start standing. Drop it in the comments. I am the reward. Because once you kill the need, she'll start chasing what you stopped asking for. Number 10. She gets addicted to the man who needs nothing. There's something about a man who doesn't chase, doesn't beg, doesn't adjust himself to win her over. He's not cold, he's not arrogant, he's just still, whole, already full before she even arrives. And that's exactly what makes him irresistible. Why? Because most men operate from lack. They try to fill the silence, try to buy attention, try to mold themselves into what they think she wants. But the man who needs nothing, he does none of that. He's centered, he's focused, and that calm independence is exactly what disorients her in the best way. You see, when a woman senses that a man is emotionally self-sufficient, something flips inside her. It's not just attraction anymore. It's intrigue, curiosity, obsession. Why doesn't he try harder? Why is he so comfortable not texting back immediately? Why does it feel like he's already lived 100 lives without me? That's the grip of mystery. And women become addicted to that space you create, not by playing games, but by living a life so full that she has to earn a place in it. This isn't about being distant. It's about being anchored. You don't push her away, but you don't pull her in either. You let her come to you, and when she does, you're exactly the same. Calm, focused, present, but never needy. The Stoics called it apatheia, state of clear mind, untouched by external chaos. And when a man embodies that, he becomes the center of gravity, not because he's trying to be, but because he doesn't need to be. She gets addicted to that kind of man, because he's not asking for her time. He's not rushing the moment. He's not desperate for her affection. He enjoys her presence, but never relies on it. That's what makes him the one she thinks about long after he's left the room. The one she dreams about at night and can't fully explain. The one she tries to understand but can't fully decode. He's the man who needs nothing. And that's why she wants him more than anyone else. If you made it to the end, you already know you don't need to be louder, richer, or smoother. You just need to be anchored, grounded in your own value, clear on your boundaries, calm in your presence. Because the men who leave the deepest marks aren't the ones who chase, they're the ones who stand still and let her come closer. If this video gave you clarity, power, or just a new perspective on yourself, then it's time to keep going. Subscribe to the channel right now so you don't miss what's coming next. And if you're ready to go deeper, to step inside a space where high-level men grow together, challenge each other, and sharpen their mindset, join the Stoic Brotherhood today. I appreciate your time, I respect your growth, and I'll see you right here tomorrow.